The Supreme Court of Nigeria has clarified that the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Olukayode Ariwoola, had no telephone conversation with anyone, including President Bola Tinubu, on the outgoing presidential election petition on the 2023 elections. Now, the Apex Court said Justice Ariwoola neither spoke with Tinubu nor the Director General of the Department of State Service with a view to pressurizing the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal over the judgment. The Director of Press and Information, Supreme Court of Nigeria, Dr. Festus Akonde, made the clarification in a statement issued on Wednesday in Abuja. Now, the statement reads in part, in view of the rumor currently circulating in the social media space that the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Honorable Justice Olukayode Ariwoola, had a telephone conversation with His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the Director General of the Department of State Service with a view to pressurizing the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal on the likely judgment to give, it is imperative to state clearly that there is no iota of truth in the narrative, as there was no such telephone conversation between the CJN and anyone. Nigerians have been following the proceedings at the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal with admirable enthusiasm. So, it is advisable we will all sustain the tempo and follow it up to the end instead of relapsing into the realm of speculations and rumor peddling that will not do anyone any good. If this current trend of falsehood and mudslinging is sustained, a nation may not make the desired progress. The courts are statutorily established to serve the best interest of the masses, and we are ever poised to do that to the best of our ability. The rule of law and supremacy of the Nigerian Constitution will always be upheld and applied in every matter that comes before the courts, as the facts presented and the subsisting laws must be applied in determining the merit or otherwise of each matter. End quote. It's puzzling indeed to find how the Nigerian public sphere can produce smoke without fire. Now, joining me to actually talk about this, of course, is our in-house analyst, and of course, he is a political commentator, a social affairs commentator as well, Cyril Abaku. Cyril, thank you for continuing the segment with me.
It's a pleasure.
It's quite interesting if you actually heard the intro that I just read out now concerning the Chief Justice of Nigeria and the speculations concerning the telephone call which took place, where we heard these rumors, the speculation. Some persons have said that these are anti-party persons who are spreading this rumor that there's a possibility that the president is trying to use this influence on the judiciary to tilt the decision of the Election Petition Tribunal. Would you say that is true? Would you say there is any iota of truth? Because they say there is no, smoke without fire.
Well, that's a grave allegation to make, really. To suggest that the Chief Justice of Nigeria is colluding with Mr. President to tilt the outcome of a judicial proceeding in his favor, especially with regard to a matter as grave and as serious as that of determining the outcome of the Presidential Election Petitions Court, which was constituted to review the processes that led to his emergence as president. First as president-elect and as president, but essentially substantially as winner of the February 25 presidential election, which of course the APC and which of course the PDP and the LP are vigorously contesting in court, asking that the election be upturned and that there be a fresh vote. So this is a very, very serious matter. It's a deterministic issue. It has very grave implications for our democratic civilization. It has very grave implications for national security, for everything that Nigeria is at the moment. But of course, again, we've seen speculations, in public space suggesting that the APC is preparing for a rerun and so on. But the reality is that the CJN actually having such a phone conversation with the president. Let me say this upfront. If anybody has credible intelligence or evidence to suggest such a claim, I think perhaps it may be advisable instead that they approach the courts and seek I don't know what the word now is, seek a summons or a call for the call logs of both men, if that was even possible, to because I mean, of course, the CJN does not enjoy immunity.
Okay.
So, but you cannot call for maybe his own call logs and to see whether indeed such a phone conversation was made, if it is really tenable to admit such in court and to find out. But anything other than that amounts to rumor mongering, amounts to disinformation, amounts to a deliberate destabilization of the public space, if only to cause chaos and cause anarchy and cause a tailspin, you know, of society. But for me, I think such a claim is really egregious. I don't know where it originated from, really. It's a sort that if it was to gain traction, nobody knows how far it will go. You know, the thing is that the social space is not is a no man's land, sincerely speaking. And if anything, social media has come to teach us that somebody could be an Hassan Hussein on Facebook, and in reality maybe a Tobe Chuku somewhere. Okay, so sometimes when you spread this kind of information, if it catches fire, you never know how far it could burn.
You do know that Body George said something, that the verdict of the tribunal may actually, you know, plunge Nigeria into turmoil or chaos. I don't know why he made that statement. Yesterday, INEC did what they call a review. They did a review of the 2023 presidential election, which of course we do know it's normal. They want to assess. And there were confessions. They actually admitted that there were challenges. They attributed the challenges to personnel, attributed it to materials, attributed it to security as well. But, you know, they didn't say what Nigerians wanted them to actually say. Did you have a challenge with the internet? Did you have a challenge with your data after assuring people that, you know, the IRF portal was good to go and that elections or the results will be uploaded real time? What caused the blurry result sheets? You know, these are the questions that Nigeria would have expected that the meeting they had together yesterday would have been able to address this. You recall that during the elections, or was it during the campaign, Justice Ariwoola supposedly was seen, you know, in an attire that seemed to be quite inconspicuous, you know, like when somebody is trying to look like someone else, you know, and then there were speculations that he was going to meet President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in London at the time. So when they saw him there, they said, why is this man, this very reputable Chief Justice of Nigeria, dressed in this manner that possibly no one would recognize him? And so that stoked the speculation. Do you think it is because of that instance that persons feel that there is a possibility that indeed...
Oh, I wish I can clearly recall everything that happened with that incident. But the Chief Justice, I think there was credible clarification as to what exactly happened. So because I'm not sure Tinubu was in London at the time, I think he was in France.
Yeah, but they said they saw him at an airport. See, possibly he was heading towards Tinubu's destination.
This is exactly the thing that we are mindful to as journalists, one, again as purveyors of public information, and also sometimes as gatekeepers, as people who are able to access information the way common men will not be able to access information.
What I'm trying to say is that attribute it is the fact that for this rumor to be, you know, to be out there.
No, sure, of course. You know, your story even said, can there be smoke without fire?
Yes.
Yes, but the thing is, when it comes down to they said, so you know that thing about they said, that lacuna has a way of beginning. But politicians say things that sometimes give them away, actually. They say things that make people to suspect. They say things that make people to look at them.
Yes, speculation.
I think the CJN, I saw that headline either in Punch or somewhere some days ago, where it was admonishing the judiciary as custodians of, and saying that, look, it is not our we should never push society beyond the brink, something like that. So people, and of course, whatever is people can read whatever meaning it is want to read into whatever it is you say, especially given the time when a comment is made, they could take it in context or out of context. But the reality remains the same, that we are at a time when Nigerians are particularly feel shut out, feel disenfranchised, feel let down, feel left behind. If you look at the sort of feeling that went into the elections and after the elections, as well as everything that's happened between May 29 and now, people are, I believe that even those who voted for President Tinubu are not exempt from the subsidy increase, from the attendant challenges that that have followed that. And so I don't think that we all agree that these are the best of times for Nigeria. Okay. I don't think we agree that this is that these are the best of times for Nigeria. I don't think so. So perhaps the mood is a bit somber. The mood is not upbeat. We are not really up tempo at the moment. We are not where we maybe thought we were going to be with it. Yeah. So right now a lot is a little bit tipsy-turvy, and so anything we say now, anything we do now has the ability to just spark a flame in a place we probably don't think that it could even spark, arise from. So that's why when we hear people say we said, I mean, you could say picture tomorrow that it's all Photoshop and you would never
know that. That's true. But I understand what you say as, purveyors of having to see what kind of information we put out there. It's our job to, give the verifiable, give the verified information. But let's look at that scenario. Last night, right, the APC governors met. And details of their meeting last night was based on the hike in palm price and what palliatives can be implemented. And they are trying to, they recommend that they will go through it by cash transfers, tax breaks, and increased public transportation subsidies. One would say that these are most of the recommendations that analysts and economic experts have been given to cushion, the effect of subsidy removal. But if we tally it with the current reality at what is already ongoing at the Election Petition Tribunal, you know that the Labour Party and the PDP have 10 days to respond to the final address of the APC. You recall that the APC gave their final address. Now, we've not...
I think on Friday.
On Friday, yeah. Yes. And I think we saw all of that out by Saturday. It was in the press. So they have 10 days to respond to what the APC said. That is the Labour Party and the APC. Do we think that this kind of information that we see out there is possibly to do what you call propel the hand of the justices or the judges at the Election Petition Tribunal to possibly tilt, their decision towards what the public would
understand what you mean. So sometimes this happens, okay? Every major trial, every major case that goes to court actually goes to two courts.
Okay.
One, a court of competent jurisdiction and the court of public opinion. So that's how they fight these things. I mean, any attorney, any tested attorney will tell you this. They go to court. While they're battling out the court, they're also battling for public opinion because you must hold these two together. So I would have wished that it was a Nigerian Governors Forum thing,
okay,
and not an APC Governors
Forum thing.
It's not necessary. What Nigerians are going to is not a partisan thing. Okay. And in your state, it's not only APC members that you're governing people from people of so many different shades of opinion and so on. So why, should it now be an APC governors affair?
Okay.
The reality is that now you will see they will make their recommendations and desire to go and implement them. But how about recommending and also serving the president? See, we cannot have leadership that cannot be spoken to. It's not right. The president has said subsidy is gone. Okay. Of course, I would think that President Bola Tinubu took subsidy away because the reality is that Buhari didn't make provision for subsidy to continue. He could have done so if he wished.
Okay.
He could have done so in the supplementary budget if he wanted to. He is president, okay? Good. So, but he didn't, which means he has personally also come to say subsidy is gone. He made it as a campaign speech, and now he has come to fulfill it. So he has effectively taken subsidy away because until the day Buhari left, he was paying subsidy. Tinubu has come to say subsidy is what? Is gone. Now the fact is subsidy is gone, which means the help people used to get is no longer coming to them, which means they'll be spending more. It's a kind of taxation. Let me just put it that way. And now you are now increasing taxes.
Yes. That's basically the issue right now.
That's what the APC governors have said. Subsidy going no while, but we owe the people a duty to cushion that impact.
It almost feels like they keep pressing the needle. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can say.
Of course, because the Nigerian public has been pummeled into subservience a long time ago. I think that the Babangida government effectively achieved that. brought Nigerians to a point where you can do whatever it is you want to do with them, and nothing is going to happen. I mean, we've seen it happen over and over again. The cash crunch, the lack of fuel when there was no subsidy problem.
Exactly.
All of those in a sane country could have crippled the economy. Nigerians went about as if nothing had happened.
And they went about their businesses. They just wanted to continue to survive. So, you know, why I'm asking this is, Siri, there are a couple of critics who think that the reason why this is happening is because the tribunal has not given its verdict yet. So some Nigerians are hoping that, especially those who are not in favor of this current administration, are hoping that the verdict, you know, will be tutored towards what their preference is. So they're just keeping calm and being patient to see how the outcome of the tribunal comes. But what if the outcome is not what they want? Then what happens? Is that when you eventually be propelled to react? Is that when you'll be propelled to voice out beyond voicing out on mediums like this when the press has conversations?
Esther, let me say two things very quickly. The first being that the tribunal outcome, what we want is justice. Okay. Is justice. No more than that. Even if that justice went to a non-living thing, let it be justice. That's what we want. And that's what every sane person should look for. The tribunal does not deal with, courts don't deal with truth.
They deal with facts.
So if you have the facts and they proved it beyond reasonable doubt, why not? They should give it to you. Facts and justice. The other thing I'm going to say is, in the event that the court gives it to anybody, I really don't see any public what's it called? Public reaction, the way you are imagining it.
Like you said, Nigerians have been pummeled into subservience.
A long time ago. And you won't believe how much work has gone into making sure, making sure that somebody is able to predict exactly how people are going to react. Since May 29, work has been going on. Maybe you're not aware of that.
I'm not aware. Am I not working?
Oh, well, good. So there's a lot that is being invested to making sure that we can predict we can determine how reactions flow in when whatever is done is done. Okay, and let me also say that if you have followed, that is, if you have been an educated listener of what has been going on in the public space, there is
following the political trend. Actually,
yes. How do I say this without impugning what was going to happen? Everything that will happen has been said. And we've read it in the media, and it's in on front pages.
Okay.
There's nothing new that's going to be said.
Sir,
but of course.
Wait. You're giving a prediction right now, but you're not literally saying it.
Of course,
but you're saying it that it's already been out there, unless no one is actually reading between the lines.
Yes, it's hidden in plain sight. It's what anybody can see. So,
you know, I asked yesterday. I said something that the president wouldn't be this brazen and consistent with all of this if there is a he wasn't confident.
I don't know.
No, seriously, no. Let's say, because I'm wondering if your matter is at the election petition tribunal and you want to curry, would I say, the loyalty of the people, right? So that they'll be like, okay, this man has come in. He's already doing the things that we said, we clamored that he should do. We don't care anymore about the outcome. Let's let him stay. But he's been confidently doing. It's been back to back, and you don't care anything. You're doing your job. So, like I said, I was asking you. Was it you or someone yesterday? I said, this says a lot without actually being said, but it's already saying a lot. That's how I perceive the whole thing.
It's a good thing if it has been said without being
said.
Yeah. So yeah.
So you need to be a psychologist if you to understand exactly what Cyril is saying, and if you've been following political trends, I think on your own you can determine the outcome if you put it pari passu. All right, Cyril, but let's look at this particular scenario with our judicial system. Is it possible that beyond this theatrics that Nigerians seem to be, beyond the speculation actually out there, is it possible that it's because of the lack of trust on our judicial system from possibly time immemorial, that you can actually see this kind of stories come up, whereby you say, oh, there's a phone call between the CJN and the president, and there's a possibility that the Supreme Court tribunal judges will have to tilt their decision in favor of the sitting president. You know, it has never happened in this space.
You even know that anybody will probably blackmailing the CJN, blackmailing your president, those are risks that are not worth taking, if you ask me. I mean, why should you stick your head out and risk having it chopped off? You know, I mean, just putting it figuratively.
Okay.
You're blackmailing the president, blackmailing. That's a very far. That's a long distance to run, really. But the reality is that the corruption in Nigerian judiciary is something that judges, lawyers have spoken about it for many years, and you will never. You know, when Justice wasn't just Kayode Esho that was saying, like, he didn't believe that we now have billionaire judges in Nigeria. It's true. Billionaire judges. You know, the other, you see, the big lawyer said that when the judge's father died, he transferred money to him for the burial. How much was the money? You know, you have judges who are so wealthy, who are so rich. That's because justice is being sold. Esther, there's a book I bought one time, For Law for Country, and it was
For Law for Country.
Yeah, For Law for Country. It's a Nigerian book. I think edited by Steve Ayorinde also.
Okay.
And maybe, but it was Newswatch Press back then. I think it was editor of National Mirror. So they had this book, you know, For Law for Country. It's quite voluminous. It featured interviews of all the leading lawyers, leading retired judges, and so, you know, I mean, it's quite a tome. It's a treasure. I bought and I read all the interviews, most of the interviews, and I began. Almost everybody talked about corruption in the judiciary, and I didn't know what that meant. Or it was until I began to be a bit more conscious when I was maturer and understood the extent of. You will almost want to change the name from judiciary to corruption, actually. And ask whether there's judiciary left in the corruption going on there. Yes. You hear what I said? You'll almost ask whether there's judiciary left in the corruption. Because the name should move from judiciary to corruption. So you wonder whether there's still judiciary left in the corruption. That's how corrupt and how bad
our judiciary is.
To put very mildly. So in such a milieu, when people there are cases in court that have been in the Supreme Court for 30, 40 years.
And nothing has not been resolved.
There was a man who had a case of somebody infringing on his land. He took the matter to court. For 4 years, he had not even given a trial date. So somebody told him, "You've been living in the UK for years. Use your British passport." So to write to the chief judge of the state, he wrote in 4 weeks.
That's a month.
Now, in 4 months, the matter was concluded in 4 months. From 4 years to 4 months. Why do I need to influence my own cases? Who does that? And for all you care, if the one who doesn't have a British passport will now do what? He will use the passport of his pocket to get what he wants. There are magistrates who come to court on bike, Esther. The judge who sits in your case is entering Keke Marwa to come to court. Shouldn't we be appalled? Sincerely speaking, shouldn't we be appalled? Really? So this is the problem. You know, those who are saying the CJN, let me even hazard a scenario here.
Okay.
If there was going to be such a collusion, I mean, this is assuming without ever conceding in any way that there was going to be such a matter. You think that the president will call the CJN, they will have a phone conversation to do that?
Of course not. They don't be via a phone conversation. Definitely. He would be via. I mean, that would be too. Nah.
You know, or they meet in London. You know, you know, the thing is.
But how do you think they would have communicated?
There are some things. There are.
Via post written.
I'm not a facilitator of corruption. I've never been a consultant to corruption, so I can't.
Or to be written in a code like the military does.
It's not. No, it's not that. This phone discussion thing is for the plebeians. Is to make the people who cannot think beyond. Say, they even had a phone discussion. They even had, no. That's for some WhatsApp groups. When I see people post things, I call them and say, "You people, you are still trifling with this."
Let's paint this picture. Let's say you're the chief.
Wait.
Let's say you're the Chief Justice of Nigeria. and I am the president. And because you're the Chief Justice of Nigeria, and maybe you're a friend, beyond the fact that it's one, I may call you and say, my friend, how are you?
Not at this time.
No, what I mean is, my friend, how are you is not in that jovial sense. It's a code. And you say, oh, I am fine. Is everything okay? Is everything in place? Are you good? And so, no, everything is fine, everything is in place, and everything is good. That's a code. They're communicating there. In other words, all we talked about, you understand what I mean? Have you sorted everything out? And that one says, yes, everything is good, everything is fine. So what I'm saying is that a phone conversation, not necessarily in the blatant sense of spelling the words out, but there is a code behind it.
Let me hazard a scenario for you.
Okay.
The simplest and the best way that such a thing could have been done is through third parties. It's not.
It do not be physical. One-on-one.
Hey, Esther. No, the question is, all the years that this sort of corruption and criminal act has been going on, how has it been taking place? Even in a book such as The Incorruptible Judge by this man that died last year, you know, there was the case of Agbalowo Mary and all.
Is it Nkrumah?
No.
Which one?
The man is
Nigerian?
Yeah, of course. He's from Ekiti State. Okay. He wrote a book called The Incorruptible Judge. It's a drama. In 1960 whatever, but I read it from a junior wife many years ago.
Yes, it was part of our literature.
The required books to be read. I want to ask the question now. How, you know, the man approached the judge in the night or so. The man went to, in the judgment, the judge warned that people should no longer come and meet him.
In the night.
That was 19 God knows when. In this day of data, whatever. And see, the thing is this. People use a lot of social connections, club membership connections, and so on.
To get what they want.
I mean, it will be extremely reckless, extremely. You don't ever leave evidence of
such things.
Yeah, of certain things, because you never know when it comes back to haunt.
That's true.
You know.
All right, thank you, Cyril Abako. We need to get into the next segment of our conversation this morning, and I do hope that you're following up so that you can actually send us a comment, and we'd like to know what you think about it. Now, up next is this particular development, which actually, set tongues rolling, and we want to talk about it, which is the fact that colleges of education have been asked to work twice, and they're blaming subsidy removal. We'll talk about that in a bit.